So I first started cosplaying back in 2015. That was about 4 years ago. My first cosplay ever was Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. And I just remember being in high school the previous year and finding out about Grand Rapids Comic Con, and I became obsessed. And I didn't get to go because my parents were super strict and I wasn't really allowed to do anything. I was raised in a very strict household, which a lot of people know. I do talk about it a lot. And it did affect a lot of things that I could do. So after I graduated, I moved out the weekend after I graduated high school. I went to a boarding school, so I wasn't really allowed to leave anyway. And so I found out about the chair squeaky. Anyway, I started dating someone in 2015 who really liked anime, and I was super into video games and stuff like that, and I did like anime, but I didn't really have a lot to do with it at the time because, again, I was raised in a strict household. I went to a boarding school, so there wasn't really much opportunity to gain that insight into the nerd culture, I guess you could say. And so when I moved, it was a completely different environment. And the first anime that I watched all the way through was Sword Art Online, haha, I know, original. And then I watched Tokyo Ghoul and Dead Man Wonderland, and it just kind of skyrocketed. And again, I was more into video games. I still think I am more into video games than I am anime. It's hard to focus on things. But I started jumping into certain anime, and I watched Tokyo Ghoul, and I really liked Ken Kaneki's character. And so I decided that I was just gonna cosplay, and I decided to go to YumaCon 2015, first con ever. I think I only went for a day, and I ordered everything off eBay or something like that. I got a super cheap wig and the spandex kind of fake leather suit, his final suit in the last episode, and I just went for it. And honestly, that's how you need to start, and that's what I tell people, is that you might not be good at first. I definitely wasn't, and I had no clue what I was doing, and I didn't even know anything about the cosplay community. I didn't even know that there was a cosplay community. So back then, I just went for it, and that's the first tip I guess I could give anyone, is just buy something super cheap and wear it. I mean, buy super cheap wigs, cut them, try to style them. Obviously, it takes time to get better at things. Obviously, I'm so much better than I was 4 years ago, and I actually know things now, and I know the resources to get things and ask people, and I was super socially awkward. It was just a mess. So I got my first wig. I chopped the hell out of it. It was bad. My mask was just way too bulky. I couldn't actually wear it on my face. I bought a legitimate one that should not have been used for cosplay. I body taped the suit to my body. I didn't have a binder. I literally body taped the suit to my body, and I am super sensitive to adhesives, and it just burned the crap out of my body. The first con that I went to, I was decent at makeup, just nowhere where I am now, because again, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup or anything growing up a lot, in my household or anything, until I went to the boarding school, and they couldn't really tell me what to do. So I would just put him on every single day, after work, and I would just be I'm Ken Kaneki. I remember going to the con and waiting in line, and if you've ever been to YumaCon, on Saturday the line is just so long, and I was in this suit, and I just didn't know anyone, and I was young and had this suit taped to my body, and the con is in November, and it was super cold, and the whole back just is open, and the shoulder area is open, and Ken Kaneki doesn't wear shoes, so I was taking pictures outside later, and it was just super cold, and I Again, I knew nothing about cosplay and I wore my wig way too tight. Like, I had the worst headache and I had like these lines on my head from my wig. It was just all around an amazing experience, but I was just super uneducated. After my first con experience, there wasn't a lot going on after that. It was still once a year thing, and I didn't buy any other cosplays until a year later. And I went to YumaCon again, and I cosplayed a couple more characters. They were more closet cosplays. I'm not, like, I don't really throw around a lot because they were closet cosplays. Still didn't have any friends. I had one other friend that was kind of into the cosplay scene, but she still kind of just did it once a year for YumaCon because it was kind of fun, dress up kind of thing. Then I met my old friends and they kind of introduced me into the cosplay community, and I ended up going to Colossal Con that year with them, and that was a whole mess. Like, the whole thing was just a mess, and even there I barely cosplayed anything relevant. So like I really didn't become a cosplayer until the end of 2017. So 2017 was the worst year of my life. It was bad. There were so many things going on that should not happen to anyone. And it's even harder that they happened when I was so young. Crazy things, which maybe I'll talk about someday, but I'm not going to get into them today, besides the one point I'm going to make here. So at this point of the video, I'm going to issue a trigger warning because it's about to get pretty dark. And I'm going to talk about sensitive topics. So if you are easily triggered or easily disheartened, just be cautious watching the rest of this video, or just don't watch the rest of the video because I am going to be talking about things that are triggers to some people. So just be cautious. This is your trigger warning. So back in June 2017, I was in a really bad spot. Again, 2017 was really hard on me. It was the hardest year of my life. I decided that I just did not want to be alive anymore, and I had a suicide attempt. My suicide attempt landed me in the hospital and in the mental hospital for over a week. And I wasn't out as transgender at the time. I was just going through a lot. And right after I got out of the hospital, I jumped very heavily into the cosplay thing. It was an outlet for me and an escape for me. The first cosplay that I worked on right after coming out of the hospital was Prompto, and that's why Prompto is my favorite cosplay. I worked so hard on him. I had played the whole game, and a lot of the things that he had dealt with is stuff that I have dealt with and I have went through and I still go through. So I relate to him a lot. He was the first one that I bought a binder for and played it off as I'm cosplaying a male character I need to flap my chest, and he gave me the confidence to come out as trans. That's why Prompto means so much to me. Prompto was my outlet. I got out of the hospital and that friend that I had made was like, oh, just do it, you know, because I was like, he's so much work. Like, he has so much, like, to him. And that wig, like, oh my god. I was like, what am I getting myself into? I went to YumaCon for the third time. Leading up to these cons, all of them were kind of crappy because I didn't really have friends, and the more that I went to, the worse it got. because I was in a relationship that was not healthy for me, and I didn't really have anyone, so a lot of the time at cons I would spend alone. I had few friends and they did help, but it was a really hard year. I made more friends on the Michigan cosplay page. It kind of opened me up to the whole cosplay community, and I was just astounded by groups of people. I just was so shy. I was so antisocial. I just started talking to people and opening up and letting people in, and around that time I came out as trans. I realized that I was a lot more comfortable. They were accepting of me, and I guess I just didn't have those people. I didn't feel comfortable enough to come out and be who I was. I guess this is turning out to be a coming out video as well. Again, I was raised in a strict household, a Christian household, and I wasn't really informed. I told people in high school that I was gender fluid, and I shaved my head my senior year, and I just wasn't sure what anything meant ever. I just knew that I liked girls and guys, and that something was going on, but I didn't have a name for it. So once I started meeting people that accepted me for me, I got the courage to just be who I was and who I needed to be. So after that, I became friends with these people. I started going more to cons, and I still had stuff going on, but it changed, and a lot of it got better, a lot of it got worse. You know, that's how life is. I started going to conventions with these friends. It opened up my eyes, and I started having positive con experiences. I just met so many good people that were proud of what they could do, and it just pushed me to be better, have courage to be who I wanted to be, courage to try new things and open up doors and, you know, fail. And so meeting the cosplay community was a real awakening for me. Honestly, it's my life now. I say that I hate the cosplay community because a lot of it is really bad and a lot of it's really toxic, and those are the things that I don't like, because anyone can be a cosplayer. I started from nothing. I didn't know anyone. I didn't even really have like an Instagram. I didn't start like posting. I didn't become Infectious Cosplay until like November 2017, and I had like 350 followers or something like that. I just kept moving up, and I kept practicing. Practice. You have to know that you're going to fail and be okay with it, because you're going to get better. I know it can be disheartening, but you have to know that you can fail. That's how you do wigs. You're going to screw up. I've screwed up plenty of wigs. I didn't know what I was doing at first. Still don't most of the time. And I'm still self-conscious about a lot of things. A lot of it has to do with like fake confidence. You have to just tell yourself you're good and tell yourself you're getting better. Pretend like a big dog. And that's what I do. Other people start seeing it that way as well, I guess. Honestly, it wasn't until very, very recently that I found a way that I do my pictures in my Instagram or my makeup or my wigs, until very, very recently, that I love and that like I'm comfortable with. I'm happy with where I am now, but I still want to grow and see what else I can do and push myself further. Kingdom Hearts wigs. That is how I started cosplay. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for asking this question all the time that I've never really answered. Thank you guys for supporting me and following me. I really, really appreciate it. It gives me the motivation to become better. Not only a better cosplayer, but a better person and a better role model and a better friend. I just can't thank you guys enough for supporting me and following me and giving me so much encouragement every single day. I know I don't respond to all the messages, and I know I don't respond to all the comments or anything, but I love you guys so much and it means so much to me. Honestly, you guys are the reason why I just keep moving forward and I keep producing stuff, because I want to show you that you can start here. And with time and practice, you can be here. And that's what matters. I love you guys so much. Stay infected. That's so cheesy.